Hi, I'm Astrid Coxon, and I'm just going to do a quick tutorial on how to do mail merges via Outlook and Microsoft Excel, because I work in online teaching, and one thing that we do at the start of every module is send a welcome email out to all students. And I've noticed how some of my colleagues have a long list of students, say 20, 30 students, that they have to email all these welcome emails to, and they send a welcome email to every student one at a time, which can be very time consuming, and it's a waste of time. You can do a mail merge and send a personalized email to every student with a couple of minutes, and I'm going to prove that by doing it in a couple of minutes. This is run on, I am on a Windows computer, and I have Microsoft 365 as desktop applications. So if you're using a Mac or if you're using web-based Outlook, then this may not work for you. Just send me a message and I'll see if I can talk you through maybe doing this in a slightly different way, but it should work for most people in most circumstances. So you have to have Outlook open, you have to have your email template as a Word document, and you have to have your list of students. So I will share my screen and show you what I mean. So first and foremost, your senior teaching fellow, module lead, whoever, manager will have most likely have sent you a list of students, and I've just come up with some, well, I was going to say fake names, but these are real names, but these are not real email addresses. And they will have sent you the names and the email addresses. They may not even have this header column. They will have just sent you a list of your students. So the first thing that we need to do for a mail merge is to separate these names into first names and second names. And you can do this quite easily. You need to select your data. So we have this data. The problem we have here is that one of these names has three names, not two. And if you separate by first and second name, it'll separate that into three columns, including Downey as a middle name, and we don't want it to do that. So any students you have more than two names on the listing, just take away that second space and add in something that you will notice later, and you can amend it back. So we have those names, absolutely fine. Select the data, then go to the data tab, which is up here, and select text to columns. And text to columns is something that you can use to separate out data into discrete columns. I'll tell you what I've missed is to create an extra column to put that data into. So create a column between these two columns so that you can have a last name, first name, and then there's actually space to put that data into. So select the data, go into the data tab, select text to columns, delimited, so characters such as commas or tabs separate each field. Click next, and then not using a tab as a delimiter, use space as a delimiter. And what that will do is it will see the space in that data and separate that into two separate columns. So then we click next, and then we click finish, and then magically all that data is transferred into two separate columns, first name, last name. Then all we have to do is make sure that we remove that symbol and put that as a space instead. Then we have our data set, first names, last names, email addresses. We'll just save that. That's our student list. Make sure we've got it saved as a new version. And then what I'm going to do is stop sharing and open up my Word template. So I have a template for the email that I want to send to students. So we have here, dear student, it's just a fake template, blah, blah, blah. And then for making this into a mail merge template, what we have to do is go to the mailings tab, select start mail merge, and then select email messages. And what that does is it converts it into an email. And then you can select your recipients list. So we are using an existing list because we've already got one from the one that we converted earlier. So use existing list, and I've saved this on the desktop. So select my student list, the Excel file, select open, and then make sure this is checked. First row of data contains column headers. So that's our first name, last name, email. And just hit OK. And then what that does is it automatically generates all your recipients of your emails, and it knows that the email column is the email address it needs to send to, and it knows that the first name and last name are the first names and last names. In the template that you've created, or the template you've been provided by your module leader, you probably will have a line that says, dear student, and they'll expect you to change the word student to the name of the individual student. And that is the bit where the time consuming bit comes in. So you'll have to go in, you'll have to go, okay, dear Dwayne Johnson, dear Terry Crews, whatever. You can make this do it automatically. So we have a function here that's greeting line. So you just hit greeting line, and then you can select dear to whatever you like. I usually do dear, and I usually have the full name. So you can select, say, Mr, Mrs, Ms. You can select even to just have a first name. But as we have a really diverse body of students, I don't want to presume anything about the pronouns they use or the titles they use, or if they're international students, whether they use their first name, second name, middle name, however they present that. So it's the best and most inclusive thing to do is to include the whole name as it appears on the spreadsheet you've been provided. Then you just select OK and delete this dear student bit. It will present you with this greeting line thing. That looks weird, but what you can do is you can hit this button here that says preview results, and it will show you exactly what it will show to the student when they receive the email. So when it emails therock@fakemail.com, that student will see Dear Dwayne Johnson, and then we can cycle through and see exactly what all the other students will see. You can check these all manually if you want to, if you just click this button up here, and you can see that all the students on our list will receive the same email, but with a personalized greeting line. And then the last thing to do is just to click finish and merge. And you can send email and messages, and that will send an individual email to each student on your original list. Type in your subject line, test, template, email. Make sure all is selected if you want to send it all, or you can select, whichever you could email it to recipients 1 through 3, which would be everyone apart from Tilda Swinton and Robert Downey Jr. But I'm going to select all, and that will send an email to all of the students on the list. And then I'm going to just let that think for a minute. I'm going to stop sharing, and then I will show you, prove to you that it has been sent appropriately by sharing a different screen. And I'm now going to get a load of notifications saying mail undeliverable, because I've sent to a bunch of emails that don't actually exist. But I shall share my sent mailbox in my Outlook, and you can see that in my sent emails, an email has been sent to Dear Robert Downey Jr., Dear Terry Crews, etc., etc., etc. So they have all been sent, and that's all done. So I hope that helps. I hope it saves you loads of time. I know that some of my colleagues spend inordinate amounts of time sending individual emails at the start for every single module. It takes me about 2 minutes tops. A bit longer if I want to personalize the email, because sometimes the welcome emails aren't worded in a way that I would like, but this should save you a lot of time. I hope you find that helpful. If you have any problems, just get in touch, send me an email, drop me a comment, and I will see if I can help. Cool, take care.